Elon Musk has sued OpenAI, and here's everything you need to know about it. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown. Catching up on a juicy story from the end of last week and over the weekend that I'm sure you've probably had some time to digest, but TLDR, Elon Musk has sued OpenAI and Sam Altman, basically saying that they have turned their back on the principles the company or nonprofit was founded upon. The New York Times writes, OpenAI, the influential artificial intelligence company that ousted and then reinstated its high-profile chief executive 3 months ago, faces a new drama, a lawsuit from Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world and a co-founder of the AI lab. Mr. Musk sued OpenAI and its chief executive, Sam Altman, accusing them of breaching a contract by putting profits and commercial interests in developing artificial intelligence ahead of the public good. A multi-billion-dollar partnership that OpenAI developed with Microsoft, Mr. Musk said, represented an abandonment of a founding pledge to carefully develop AI and make the technology publicly available. Now, for those of you who are just spending some time with this situation for the first time, this goes way back. Elon and Sam Altman have had a long-standing tension around these issues, and of course, that influenced his decision to start xAI. Indeed, part of the reason that Elon was interested in OpenAI initially is that he believed that Google, and specifically co-founder Larry Page, were far too glib and dismissive of the risks that AI represented. However, it was only a few years later, in 2018, when Elon left OpenAI's board. In many ways, there are a number of different battles being fought here. On the one hand, there is a specific legal battle. On the other is a PR battle. And like everything that Elon does, it's already starting to become as much a Rorschach test about what one thinks of Elon as much as a substantive debate on the merits. So what does Elon want out of this? Well, first of all, he's looking for a jury trial, and he wants OpenAI to be required to open its technology once again, as well as to give Elon back the money that he originally donated to them. As part of the lawsuit, Elon's lawyers are painting him as indispensable to the company's early success. They claim that between 2016 and 2020, he gave more than $44 million to the organization. They point out that he was personally involved in recruiting Ilya Sutskever. And ultimately, the suit says, without Mr. Musk's involvement and substantial supporting efforts and resources, it is highly likely that OpenAI would have never gotten off the ground. The lawsuit also seeks to dramatize and emphasize Elon's feelings about the threat that AGI poses. From the suit, Mr. Musk has long recognized that AGI poses a grave threat to humanity, perhaps the greatest existential threat we face today. His concerns mirrored those raised before him by luminaries like Stephen Hawking and Sun Microsystems founder Bill Joy. Our entire economy is based around the fact that humans work together and come up with the best solutions to a hard task. Of course, the main argument rotates around the deal with Microsoft. Once again from the suit, these events of 2023 constitute flagrant breaches of the founding agreement, which defendants have essentially turned on its head. To this day, OpenAI Inc.'s website continues to profess that its charter is to ensure that AGI benefits all of humanity. In reality, however, OpenAI has been transformed into a closed-source de facto subsidiary of the largest technology company in the world, Microsoft. Under its new board, it is not just developing, but is actually refining an AGI to maximize profits for Microsoft rather than for the benefit of humanity. There is a lot to unpack here, but one of the things that is worth noting is this interesting question around definitions of AGI. My understanding is that the way that the Microsoft OpenAI deal works is that Microsoft is allowed to commercialize OpenAI's models right up to the point where they achieve AGI. After that, they no longer have exclusive access to them. Well, then you might be thinking to yourself, it certainly seems like the definition of AGI will really matter, and one can imagine there being incentive to push that farther and farther out. Elon himself tweeted very little about this, especially for Elon. However, he did retweet a 54-second video of himself from Teslaconomics, who added the caption, "This is why Elon is suing OpenAI," to which Elon added simply, "Yeah."
Look, it does seem weird that something can be a non-profit, open source, and somehow transform itself into a for-profit closed source. I mean, this would be like let's say you funded an organization to save the Amazon rainforest, and instead they became a lumber company and chopped down the forest and sold it for money. And you'd be therefore like, well, wait a second, that's the exact opposite of what I gave the money for.
Yeah.
Is that legal? That doesn't seem legal. And if it is, and in general, if it is legal to start a company as a nonprofit and then take the IP and transfer it to a for-profit that then makes tons of money, shouldn't everyone start? Shouldn't that be the default?
Sam Altman also didn't make an official statement. Instead, he dug up a May 2019 post of his on Twitter where he said, "It's gross seeing so many root against Tesla. Be the person on the side of the climate and innovation, not the person hoping to make money on puts. Also, betting against Elon is historically a mistake, and the best product usually wins." Back then, during better times, Elon wrote, "Thanks, Sam," to which he responded 5 years later, "Anytime," and the salute emoji. Bloomberg's Matt Levine tried to dig into this, and this is where he landed. Elon's complaint is essentially a complaint for a breach of contract. Musk argues that he founded OpenAI with Altman and Greg Brockman, that they had a deal about how OpenAI would operate, and that Altman and Brockman have now gone back on the deal. The contract said that OpenAI would be a nonprofit, that it would be run for the benefit of humanity, that it would build AGI and give it away for free, and that it would build open source software, thus the name, and explain to the public how its models operate. But now OpenAI is run for profit, for the benefit of Microsoft and its other investors rather than humanity. It is built artificial general intelligence and is hoarding it for its own enrichment rather than giving it away. One problem with this claim is that the contract doesn't quite exist. Musk's lawsuit says that OpenAI has breached the, quote, founding agreement of OpenAI, as though he, Altman, and Brockman sat down and signed a piece of paper with founding agreement at the top setting out how OpenAI would operate, but they didn't. There is no document titled founding agreement. Despite being wealthy, sophisticated, repeat startup founders who know a lot of lawyers, the founders never sat down and signed a contract. Instead, the founding agreement has to be inferred from other documents. Musk cites a June 2015 email from Sam Altman with 5 numbered bullet points setting out a plan for building AI, and the December 2015 Certificate of Incorporation of OpenAI Inc., which is a nonprofit corporation that ultimately controls OpenAI. Basically, Levine sums up, the evidence of a specific deal between Musk and OpenAI is pretty thin. Still, says Levine, I sympathize. OpenAI Inc., the top-level company that controls OpenAI's business, really is incorporated as a nonprofit. It really was formed to work for the benefit of humanity and not for the private gain of any person. And it did take donations from Musk and use them to build its team. But it eventually set up a for-profit subsidiary which has managed to raise money from investors at an $86 billion valuation, and those investors expect some capped financial return on that investment. A lot of this echoes something that Brian Quinn, a law professor at Boston College, said. According to the New York Times, Quinn said that the suit makes a, quote, compelling case that OpenAI abandoned its roots. But unfortunately, he doesn't believe that Elon has the standing to bring the case. Said Mr. Quinn, if this was filed by the Delaware Secretary of State, I would say, ooh, they're in trouble. But Elon doesn't have standing. He doesn't have a case. Back to Levine, he hits on one of the big themes of conversation that I've seen in the last couple days, when he wrote, obviously one should be pretty cynical here. Musk runs a for-profit AI company, xAI, which competes with OpenAI and has raised money by citing OpenAI's commercial success. Blowing up that competitor's commercial prospects, as this lawsuit is trying to do, could help xAI. He also runs other companies, Tesla and Twitter/X, that make use of AI. Billionaire investor Vinod Khosla echoed some of these themes, writing, with Elon Musk feels like a bit of sour grapes in suing OpenAI, not getting in early enough, not staying committed, and now a rival effort. Like they say, if you can't innovate, litigate, and that's what we have here. Elon of old would be building with us to hit the same goal. Now, charitably, when Vinod said not getting in early enough, he was referring to Elon actually building something like OpenAI, not investing in the company itself, given, as numerous people on the thread pointed out, not getting in early enough, he was a founder. Khosla eventually updated this saying, supply chain error on wording. Elon got in early and bailed early when it seems the going got tough, and keeping the mission required real scale money to be able to have any benefit to society. Now, this is something that Sam Altman and OpenAI have talked about a lot, that the reason they added that for-profit structure is that they simply needed a scale of resources that nonprofit donations wouldn't allow them to achieve. Given that these foundation models require capital sources that extend beyond even what venture capitalists with multi-billion-dollar funds can invest, I don't think that's an unreasonable argument to make. Now, of course, that doesn't change the complications in terms of a switch, but one could still have questions about that while believing what Altman said was the motivation for the introduction of a for-profit model at OpenAI. Another really interesting piece of the case has to do with Q-Star. Rowan Chung writes, so Elon is suing OpenAI partly because he believes OpenAI's Q-Star model has a strong claim to being AGI. Q-Star is OpenAI's secret breakthrough that was leaked during Sam Altman's ousting in November. It's mostly still unknown, but here's everything we know about Q-Star so far. Rowan points to a speech that Sam gave the day before he was fired, where he asked, is this a tool we've built or a creature we've built? And said, this is the biggest update we'll have. Rowan continues, at the time of the speech, we hadn't heard of Q-Star yet. All we knew was that Sam was ousted at OpenAI and that Ilya, quote, saw something. 4 long days after the ousting, OpenAI's secret AI model breakthrough called Q-Star was leaked. Fast forward to now, and Elon Musk is suing OpenAI. Here's the first section of the lawsuit on Q-Star. Quote, on information and belief, OpenAI is currently developing a model known as Q-Star that has an even stronger claim to AGI. Further down in the suit, it says, "It appears Q-Star may now or in the future be part of an even clearer and more striking example of artificial general intelligence that has been developed by OpenAI. As an AGI, it would be explicitly outside the scope of OpenAI's license with Microsoft and must be made available for the benefit of the public at large." This is already a hell of a story with some pretty significant implications. One of the biggest ones we saw yesterday around the launch of Anthropic's Claude 3. As many pointed out, the presence of this lawsuit might significantly tie OpenAI's hands in how fast they can move on new models. The lawyers may be taking over, limiting what OpenAI can do, slowing things down generally, and that indeed may be the point. This is definitely a story that's going to continue to evolve and one that I will keep watching here, but let's close on a song created by Riley Brown on Suno AI that he called "Please Don't Sue Me, Elon." Enjoy the track, and until next time, peace.
Please don't sue me, Elon. I just did what I had to do. If I don't get Satya, here's Q-Star. He will take our GPUs. And I know you gave us $50 million. We just didn't think it through. But please let us build